Welcome to the Mindful Play Summit. Today we have the opportunity to sit down with Rachel Musial. She is a pediatric speech language pathologist specializing in mindfulness, mental health, and self care. Rachel is also a big sister of two siblings that both attended speech therapy, which ignited her passion for the field. Originally from Chicago, Rachel attended the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, where she studied both speech pathology and Spanish. She then continued her Master of Arts in Speech Pathology at Northern Illinois University. Currently residing in Denver, Rachel works with pediatric home health care and primary Spanish speaking littles aged birth to 5. A strong advocate for parent education and involvement, she strives to make speech therapy as functional and practical as possible. Thanks so much for watching. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Mindful Play Summit. I'm super excited to introduce to you Rachel. She is here to talk to us today and let us know a little bit about herself and what got her into the field of work with speech and mindfulness and beautiful emotional resilience. So, Rachel, thanks so much for coming on today. And yeah, over to you to let us know who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you, Crystal, first off, for having me. My favorite thing, and we chatted about this before, is how this space online has brought together so many people with a similar mission. So I just absolutely love when I can resonate with someone else in the field, but a little bit different, and we can kind of discuss what's going on there. So thank
Absolutely.
you.
You're welcome, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah. My name is Speech with Rach on all my social media pages, and I'm a speech language pathologist, but I'm also a big sister. And I think that was really what inspired my journey into speech therapy and advocacy and mental health. Um, Growing up, I was the oldest of two, and both of my younger siblings received speech therapy. And I was the oldest. I was a theater kid. My voice was my world. And when I saw them struggle with something that I took so for granted, it really hit me. And I was like, I can change my voice. I can rely on my voice. How must it feel to not be able to do that? I want to help people. And so, kind of throughout high school, I knew that that was going to be my path. I went to the University of Illinois. I'm from Chicago originally, so I went there for undergrad. And then in undergrad, I kind of had my first little incident with mental health. Now, I want to give a little caveat that growing up, my mother was a very spiritual being. She shared affirmations, spirituality, mindset, mindfulness with me, but it never stuck. And what I tell my community and share with people is you can't make someone open and ready to accept that if they're not. So for years it was there, but I never really needed it. And then senior year of college, I was 40 pounds heavier, incredibly depressed, suicidal, eating disorders, you name it. And I hated myself. Like in my journal entries to myself, I'm writing, I hate myself, I'm ugly, and I just took this really deep turn because for so long in my life, I had to be the yes man for everyone, right? I had to always show up. So I kept putting myself last and last and last. And then I completed grad school, things kind of got better. And I moved to Los Angeles when I graduated to do my clinical fellowship year. And that is like a year-long program in between being a full-time speech pathologist and finishing grad school. And kind of similar to you, Crystal, I ended up in the hospital at 25, colonoscopy, endoscopy, broken ankle, broken ribs, bronchitis, you name it.
Wow.
And my body was shutting down. And I kind of started realizing that it was telling me something, that I was so stressed out and it was impacting the way that I was functioning. And I was like, I can't keep living in this cycle of depression, anxiety, should and could. I need to just be. And so I kind of made a change that day. I decided I'm going to live my life for me. I'm going to really dive into this, and this is going to be my thing.
Wow.
And then I moved to Denver last year. And Denver is a beautiful, accepting community for this kind of belief and lifestyle. And same thing kind of as you, when COVID hit, I freaked. And I was like, what am I going to do with my job? In the speech therapy world, I'm at a per visit rate since I'm in home health. So if my families don't show, I didn't get paid. And when we switched to telemedicine that first week, I freaked. And I was like, I need to fill my time, my day with something. So I started my Instagram. And first, I started talking about speech therapy tips, just like real straightforward. And one day I shared that I had anxiety and depression. And I got a DM from someone being like, thank you for talking about this.
Wow.
And then more and more and more. And what I realized was people didn't want to see all my speech stuff. They wanted to see SLP and the life beyond, what it looks like being someone that has anxiety, depression, ADHD, that is able to manage life and find happiness through all of it. And so that's what
Beautiful.
my page completely evolved into. And it's been so incredible to find this community of educators that are willing to learn to take care of themselves and their community so that they're not burning out like I did.
Beautiful. Yeah, I can see so many
I know.
I can't even say the word similarities in our
Yes.
story. And when I hear you speak, I get goosebumps because it's that story, it's that journey, it's that expression. And the moment that you created that platform, and like I said, that's how I found you, right? And hearing what you're discovering, and especially with your, call them labels, removing labels, it just helps us
Yes.
understand
Ourselves.
right? And I love that beautiful piece of your expression. So thank you for sharing that with us. And thanks for coming on because, it's easy for us to see things coming with the pandemic and either it shuts us down or we want to discover. And I'm totally embracing that discovery and I can see you did too. So I want to give you a little sister high five.
We're a cosmic reboot. I've always said
yes.
it was a wake up for the world. It was like, we can continue to live in this rinse and repeat cycle. Or we can wake up and like start to celebrate because every day is going to look the same unless you decide it shouldn't.
So beautiful. And I'm inspired by the work that you're putting out there because I'm just learning as I'm going through. I'm like, yeah, girl. And when I checked my calendar and I was like, woo, little high five.
I know. I was like, I could start with Crystal today. Good vibes all around.
Absolutely. So getting into some of these questions on how you took that passion, how you took your lessons in learning and incorporated this for the littles. So if you could just let us know how you found your way using this, mindfulness and strategies into working with the littles.
Yeah, I actually read a book that really opened my eyes to the way that we look at communication. And the book is called Uniquely Human by Dr. Barry Prezant. And it's about looking at autism not as diagnosis, but a different way to communicate. And as I started to read that book, I started to see that some of these things we might label as behaviors in our kids was simply them not understanding how to regulate, process, or express. And I was like, why are we not spending more time looking at why kids are doing the things that they're doing, the core issues? And so I started kind of using it and talking about it. And when I worked in Los Angeles, I had a 6th grade boy that was just getting bullied so hard. And he was not my student, but we just vibed. And one day I introduced journaling to him. And I had him write down every morning 3 things he was grateful for. Then he wrote down the thing that was maybe not raising him up that day, that was kind of bothering him. And then he wrote, what did I learn from it? And he started doing it and sharing it with his friends. And then I had this group of kids that were not even my students, all making journals. And I was like, okay, this resonates. And then in the preschools, I started using belly breathing, self-regulation, talking to kids. And I noticed that instead of saying, hey, stop crying, when I would say to them, I'm noticing that you're upset. It's okay to be upset. What can we do in this moment? And I gave them the option. Those behaviors weren't happening anymore because they were empowered to handle it. And I was like, this is what we need to teach our kids. And so I focus on all my targets in speech, but I always ensure that when I'm starting my sessions, we are checking in on our energy, talking about our strategies, and setting them up for success so that if the session goes awry, they know what to do. And it's like life-changing to see it in them.
I love that. I love it when it's like delivered and then you see it coming back at you. You're like, yes.
Yes, exactly.
So awesome. You know, when you talk, I get really excited over here because the world needs this work, right? That
Yeah.
mind-body connection and learning allows them to feel safe so that they can learn more. I love that. So what
Mhm.
exactly is mindfulness?
Yes, that's my favorite question. I think that so often there's this misconception that mindfulness is happiness or calmness, and that's not what it is. So, the definition, the true definition of mindfulness through, I'm taking a MBSR course right now. I have like 1 week left, so close.
I just
And the
finished. I'm
reason
like,
I did that, people don't
bless
know.
your heart.
And it's mindfulness based stress reduction. And I wanted to learn it because I think it's really important in the speech world. We always ensure that what we're preaching is backed up by science. And I love all this stuff, but sometimes it's thrown around. And so I kind of wanted to be like, I want people to trust that I've researched, I understand why this stuff works. And so the definition of mindfulness is bringing your awareness to the present moment without judgment or expectation. So that means you can still be mindful and be pissed off as long as you're not judging yourself for feeling pissed off. So, like what I say to my kiddos is all feelings are okay. What's important is what we do with them.
Yes.
So, I'm not upset that you're mad. I'm upset that you're hitting. Right. And so that's what I try to teach them is it's awareness in this moment. It's acceptance, it's non-judgment, and it's just kind of letting things be and finding beauty in them, I think.
So cute. That's awesome. I giggle because you and me, I feel like we're on a very similar trajectory. You're like
I
MBSR, I'm like,
know.
MBSR over here. And, you know, when you're speaking and you're expressing it from such a beautiful place of being, I absolutely love that. And, you know, when I hear you talk, all the things that keep coming to my mind is where was this connection point when we were young, right? Where was this connection point to just be or to inspire educators like yourself to go through, you know, and when I say bless your heart, because I know by the 8th week of MBSR and, you know, the silent journeys and the full
Oh, I
day
know.
and the
I'm at that
walking
1 week. I
meditation,
just did
right?
that one whole day
When
of
you,
the 7 hours of the
when you
mindful
say
lunch.
I'm at my last, I'm like, woo, because you're almost
Yes.
there. But it's a
Yes.
beautiful journey of being. And I'm very inspired by your work and how you're connecting it with different age groups. So there's not just a cookie cutter way of doing things, it's able to be moved and flowed through your teaching. So it could support not even just yourself, the children, whoever you're working with, any type of client base. So
Yeah.
thank you for expressing that. So we talk about emotions, we talk about, you know, emotional resilience, and you know what we, you know, my upbringing was like, hey, if you're feeling that way, that's fine. You go over there and you cry. So I had to learn a lot of these strategies at an older age, not at a younger age. But hearing now about what you're teaching and how you've incorporated it into your each and every day, why is it important to teach emotions at an early age versus, you know, learning them in, you know, for my case, my 30s and well into my 30s.
Yeah. Well, because I think, like you said, is the first part is just even identifying that is a really hard thing for so many people. And even knowing what emotions are. The other day, someone asked me, like, what is an emotion? And I was like, and I Googled it. And technically, it's energy in motion, right? So we have energy, and depending on how we feel, we hold that energy in different ways. So, why I think it's so important for kids to learn it is so that they can be proactive when they're feeling certain ways. And what I've noticed sometimes in the speech world or when kids are growing up, we're very reactive with things. They do something, then we talk about it. They make the mistake, they hurt themselves, and then we have the discussion. Versus using little moments, literature, other things to model it. So when that crossroad happens, they know what they can do. And even just having my 3-year-old saying, I feel mad when they're hitting makes a huge difference in their level of attention, connection, and trust. And I think that's a really big thing too, is you kind of hit the nail on the head where at the end of the day, we just want them to feel safe and to be able to take risks. And so the earlier that they learn that, I think the earlier they're able to manage those feelings when they come up and not label them as good and bad, but notice them and know that they have power over them and they can choose what they do with that energy.
I love that. It's like you're giving a voice to those emotions and saying it's okay to feel the way that you're feeling. And how do
Yeah.
we move with that energy? I mean,
Well, have you seen Inside Out?
yes. Yes.
I use that to teach emotion with like all of my kiddos,
I
because
love that.
for a lot of kids, it's really hard to relate to like an abstract concept like that. And that's why I love that movie, because it doesn't say that anger is bad. It's just that anger is anger and he's crazy. And we know when he comes on the screen, what's going to happen. And the kids
Absolutely.
really relate to that. When you're like, oh, yeah, like in that movie, like disgust, like that girl. And they'll make those connections. And I'm like, they're getting it. Like they see, you know?
Absolutely. What a brilliant movie and what a brilliant analogy, because it helps them reconnect with seeing that, not just a feeling it, but actually seeing it, right? Okay, so I know you're big on affirmations and I absolutely love that. So can you share with us? I know you maybe brought a little deck and we're going to do a little raffle draw. So for those of you that are listening, we're going to do a code word. You're going to email in and it's going to be power of awareness. So affirmation cards, free gift. So do you have those handy to kind of share someone, maybe one of your favorite affirmation?
Right back here. Give me a second.
Okay.
I think I got them right here. I do.
So those of you listening will have the email below where you're going to email in the code word, and that there is power of affirmations.
Yeah.
So
I got them here for us.
woohoo.
And the way that I did it, I wanted it to just be easy to read, cute, and that people could use it in their everyday routine with their child at home, in speech, or with themselves. Okay. Because these are not just for our littles. And just really quick, I want to share why I love affirmation so much. Just because it changes the way that we talk to ourselves. And we know that our brain believes anything we tell it. So if we continue to tell it negative things about ourselves, it starts to believe that. And when we change our mindset and we start practicing this positive thinking, the brain's like a muscle and it'll start automatically believing that and going to that. And with my littles, it's really cool for them because I feel like when they say these words after me, even if they don't believe them, over time, they do. And I start to see it more and more. And there'll be times where maybe spontaneously during a session, they're like, I am smart, or, oh, I remember, I don't say this, I can say. So it's just really cool.
So how do you feel when you're reading them with them?
Oh, I mean, I need them just as much. Like I do my affirmations every morning. So every morning, the two that I have a bunch that I say, but there's two I always say to myself. And it's everything works out for me always. And let live and let be. Those are my two that I tell myself every morning, but I have other ones that I go through as I need. But I mean, why would I not want to practice these positive statements?
Love that.
Like I love it. So
I love I connect with the right people at the right time.
Oh, that's a good one.
That one I've been using a lot, and done is better than perfect.
Yeah, I like that too.
Beautiful. Okay, let's see these cards.
All right, so I'm going to read you guys a couple of them. So this is my favorite. So this is, I choose to have an amazing day.
I love that guy.
And then also really quick, sometimes when I say these, I either look in a mirror. Some people don't like doing mirror, affirmations, or I usually have a crystal with me too. I love using crystals, and I like to just have like something that I feel like I'm pushing my energy towards or getting it from. And I even tell like families, even just holding something to sometimes allow your kid to better focus on it and keep their fingers quiet, keep other things can help. So
love that.
This one is, I believe in myself.
Yeah, girl.
I can do hard things.
I like that one.
I am in charge of my emotions. I don't give up. My favorite one.
No, I love it.
I am proud of myself. This is a hard one for a lot of adults to say. So that's why I really included this one.
I love that. I love that we as educators also benefit from doing the work with the children, and that universal healing of I do my work, I support others to do their work, and we heal and learn together. It's so
Yes,
beautiful.
exactly. Exactly. Yep. I've got a couple more.
I
I am
like that
smart.
one. I love all the hearts.
I know it's very just bright. I try new things. Mistakes help me grow.
Yes.
And I am loved.
Yeah, that one, mistakes help me grow, right? And learning from that, because it's easy for even children to just get shut down or
Yes.
chuck a shoe across the room, or I
Mhm.
can't and I'm a failure, and all of
Yes.
this programmed old thoughts. So I love that one for sure. That
Yeah,
resonates
and that's
with
where we
me.
talk about, I'm sure you've probably talked to a little bit about like a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's where you talk to them about the power of yet and saying like, yeah, you know, maybe right now we can't do it, but we got to practice more and more, and then we'll be able to.
Beautiful. Well, and hearing, what you're doing out there in the world, any way that we can support and spread the word on whatever you're doing, please, please, please let us know. I've also created an online community. It's called the Mindful Play Community. So make sure that you're included in on that as well. And during the event, you can come in and connect with those that are watching and listening. That's kind of where our little lounge is going to be hanging out. So
Cool.
I just want to say thank you for coming on and sharing a part of your story and sharing a part of your journey. And, I didn't actually confirm if we're doing a raffle or if we're just doing a link for giveaway for
We're
these
just going to
cards.
link. Everybody gets it for free.
Perfect. Woohoo! So thank you. Thank you. So
Of
disregard the raffle earlier. I should have confirmed, but that's great. So we'll post all of the links of where everybody can find you on your speaker page below. And if there was one thing that you could just leave our listeners with today, one thing of advice or inspiration, what would that be?
Yeah. So funny because I was on a call with someone yesterday and she asked me this and I was like, so I'm going to steal what I said. But what I said is just there's so much beauty in this present moment in front of us. And to anyone that is feeling anxious or overwhelmed or lost, just taking a deep breath and celebrating those little things around you can make you feel so much more mindful and powerful in any moment of your day. So I just urge people to slow down sometimes, take a deep breath, and don't go through life so habitually. Maybe check in a little bit more and you will find so much more fulfillment in those everyday moments.
Beautifully said. Thank you. Thank you so
Of
much,
course.
Rachel, for coming on
Thank
and
you.
speaking with us today. And thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks.
Bye.